Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my job shop. Welcome to my channel. My name is Keith and I'm your host. Before the last video, I actually had an entire video showing measurements and readings on this bed and why we're deciding to grind it, or facts that show us that the bed has got extreme wear is probably the best way to put it. In the meantime, we went ahead and prepared, get ready to drop the apron. So just before we drop everything, I left the shafts all in there because most of them have to go out the front side anyway, or a couple of them do. Regardless, we'll leave the shafts in there. When we lift the apron off, then we can actually be on the other side and look at how the shafting is going through the apron. Also, we'll be able to look down through the top into the apron, and we'll be able to look at everything while the shafts are going through there. And it's probably just as important to be that way, and also it'll probably be in this position when we go to lift it back into place. Okay, so we still have other things to take off of this, but I have started really clearing around the lathe here, getting the area cleaned up. Now, we have already soft wire wheeled the ways and lubricated them up, and we're able to glide back and forth on here. It feels extremely nice, but we know that it's not brand new. And of course, if we go for grinding the ways and scraping the carriage, we're going to have a new lathe here, and I think we're going to go for that. What I've done before is I put my indicator or my mag base here, and then put my indicator on this flat surface right here. This is a pair of the ways, when the ways are ground, every one of these surfaces right here is all parallel to each other. And the wear is where you most commonly machine or operate your lathe, and most of the time the majority of the things are just chucked up into the chuck and then do a little machining. So your carriage has got this section in here that is worn more or used up more than the rest of your lathe. So by taking and setting up the indicator here, I don't even know where we're at here, we'll just go ahead and we'll set it on 0 here. As we roll this into the ways are riding on the worn area, and this basically has no wear here, but from here to here has never been touched. So this is like virgin land here and here. So we're gonna put it over here and check this side, and we'll put it over here and we'll check this side. And also too, your working side and your back side are gonna have a little bit different wear on them as well. All right, I'm gonna have to change my cut. I have another part that I'm cutting over in the K&T, and it's at the end of the travel, and so that's the noise in the background. I'm doing something else while I'm doing the videos here. All right, I'll be right back. We're back here. We're gonna start right there. This is the tailstock's on the bed still. The carriage is back to the tailstock, so it's pretty much as far as you're gonna go back comfortably in the travel here. So we're just going to wheel it up here, and the needle's climbing. We're about a +5 there, 6, 7, about 8, and then all of a sudden she starts falling back the other way because the dish in the bed here. So We went up to about a +8 or so, and then went up over the hump, which was back onto the level part over there. All right, that doesn't seem so bad on that side there. Let's go ahead and switch over to this side here. Okay, that's at 0. She's climbing. She climbed up to about 8. And we're at the end of the travel, and she's -11. So that whole run of going down and then back up, we've got about a full indicator travel of about 15 thousandths in here. All right, that's one test, or one indicating that proves the facts of the condition of this bed. And when we get the carriage off and other things like that, we're going to put straight edges on here, and then we're going to be checking with the straight edge and probably feeler gauges and get another realm of the dish or the wear in the ways. Now, it's almost time to change that cutter again. I'll be right back. Now, when a bed is ground and you have scraping done, you lose surface. And when you lose surface, the apron will drop its parallelism with the bed, and the rods have to line up in line with their destinations and their tail support. So you need to know how much material is lost and how much this is going down, and in doing so you can pre-measure the V height in relationship to the flat surface under here. I got to get some Scotch-Brite and or just wipe and scrape that pretty clean underneath there. There's some areas that haven't been touched. Also, you have this side here that's on the flat, and you can mic this and you can mic this and record those readings and use the same stack up, the same measurements, and after the bed is ground, you will know that. And when you first start setting up and scraping your carriage in, you'll be able to take and take measurements from flat surfaces in relationship to the flat surface underneath here. Compare those readings before and after, and then that will let you know how much of the surface underneath the carriage you need to remove where the apron bolts up to it. Facts that need to be jotted down and recorded so that it helps you on the reassembling and the rebuilding of those fits and alignments. Something that I noticed, and I'm going to share it with you, because the V fits tight and it doesn't rock. It's solid, okay? I have to force it off of its plane to make it move around. And that's the same case here as it is for the back end of the lathe. And I come in here where the wear is, and this really starts rocking. So it's really kind of telling the tale. And actually, if you feel this, there's some area that's up. It's like it comes up the plane and then it has a little rise because there's clearance on the top of this. And as it wears, it actually makes a little ridge. So we can actually see that a little bit by putting some of our Sharp'em on here. And we can see the pattern right there. And now that's blued up almost perfectly. And then you come down here and you can transfer it over, and not quite. I can see the wear area inside here, but I'm sure you can in there. But if we do the same thing here, you're going to see that you're not going to wipe it off like it is there. It's hollow. There's no wear. You can see it. You can't see it. All right, so let's go ahead and pull off this cover, and we're going to drop the taper attachment right off of here and start the process of really narrowing this down to the bed itself with the carriage. So I figure we'll drop this off of here, and then we're going to drop the apron, and then we'll drop the quick change gearbox off of there, and then we're just going to have the carriage and the bed. All right, because we got a little stripping down to do on the carriage, but we want to do that assembly as last. And then that'll be refreshed as we go back, okay? Because we have the ways and we have the cross slide ways. All right, we'll just take this one step at a time here, and okay, wood screw, sheet metal screw, whatever you want to call it, on a little bit of welding stuff up there. Looks like the face or the end piece there kind of broke off, the retainer, so we might have to redesign something on here to hold it on there. It doesn't. I think that's why this makeshift right here. So we don't want to lose that important screw. All right, let's see what junk we got in here. Okay, this is the bolt that's supposed to hold the nut. And these are the two shouldered head screws that this is supposed to snap down onto, and it's supposed to fit flush like that. And you're supposed to be able to remove this if you need to. And this is hokey, something hokey. There should be the locking bolt right here that locks and unlocks the travel. And I believe if I run that in and out right now, you'll see that move. Now this is moving here. Oh, that's not going to move until you actually go forward and aft. And this has got to be held. So the only way to see that move would be to pull or push on this, and it's not going to happen right now. But you unlock this, and then that's letting this travel here control the in and out. Okay, the lead screw connects to the slide with a block, and then there's a nut with a cotter pin underneath here, and I think there's probably a couple little bearings or something in that point there. I don't know yet. We'll find out. Let's go ahead, and we got to pull 4 Allens out of here. There's 2 dowel pins that actually hold that to the tracer attachment on that side. Okay, this is flange with 4 bolts here and 4 bolts here that'll drop this off of here, but we have to disconnect the lead screw before we can get this ready to come off of there, and then we'll hold it with a sling here. Okay, we're just going to set these over here for right now, and I'm going to try my my heel bar. Four pins. That was a neat trick, huh? Okay, now without those in there, that inner nut or under nut there should be drawn in, and the carriage will pretty well stay where it's at. No, it's gonna make a liar out of me yet, right? Okay, if we can't get that to break loose that way there, we can loosen this up here, and then this thing probably hasn't been moved in a long time. Yeah, okay. See, it's pushing that whole thing through there. So this slide. Got the cotter pin pretty well straight there. Okay, I got it. All right. Now, if I can get a punch in the right diameter there, or a screwdriver that's the right diameter, I should be able to unscrew this with the lead screw. All right, there we go. All right, we're disconnected from that, and that's a thrust, and there's a bearing. I can feel that this is where the needles or the roller, the ball bearing thrust washer should be right there, and it's on my finger. Okay, the other one I can see on the inside here. All right, we're 100% out of the way. I don't know if this will flex up or not. We're just going to give it a shot here. Okay. Okay, the little drop pin for this slide is sunken down in there. I'm going to go ahead and pull off this compound here just to make sure that we may be missing something here. If we take this out of the nut, we should be able to just pull this back. Maybe not without this one. Okay, there's a keeper pin. One works with the slide. And I don't know what that is, unless that's a lock. That's got to be a lock. Just pulls it up against there. Similar to the lock on the carriage, I guess. Okay, I'm going to pull the handles off so that this can just come straight off the end, because it looks like this whole plate's going to have to lift off all at one time. And we got to change our cut again. Okay, there's a certain amount of slide that gives that motion for the lead screw to be transferred from working the carriage and working the tracer, or following the tracer. Okay, that other nut, I don't know where that went. I'm just going to spray some goop in here. And yes, okay, I see the other piece in here. Right there. This holds the gib in. Okay, I had to pull off the felt retainer for the front of the ways here so that I could get the gib out. And can't wait to get that cleaned up and take a look at what it's going to involve there. Here's 2 screws that hold that, and those screws there. Now this should be able to come off of here with no issues. And I wanted to see what, if anything, was actually holding that from coming off of there. But this goes all the way down and around here, so we'd have to pull this completely off to get that piece out of there. Now that should just lift straight up. All right, I'm going to set this down on the floor. And that's because it can't fall from there. Can't afford any broken parts. Okay, that locking nut is down under here, and that locks the carriage to the rail itself. When we get this up off of here, we'll see how these interact with each one of them, or each position that they are holding to. Just had to be equal. Okay, that is free. Those bearings feel okay. We're going to leave it just like that for right now. There is the nut, and before we lose it, this is the other bearing. There we go. And then it's a bronze bushing in between there. And it's got an oil. That hole right there is for oil. This is the nut. We'll get that cleaned up and we'll get a look at how worn that is. And this is the lock for the slide. I'm going to take a photograph of that before I lose that. Okay, note to self. If you're taking apart a Monarch with a taper attachment, start at that end. Because you're not going to get there from here, but you can get there from there. You will still have to take everything that I took apart. But you can't get the slide out until you get the compound off. The cross slide off, I meant. The compound's still on the cross slide. Yeah, they got a couple Allens going in at a lower point there, so we are going to have to loosen up and get this to flow. And we're going to put 2 of these in here. Just so that the stress isn't going to be on everything. Two Allens are in here, so we got to get this freed up, and I don't think it's going to want to. Just my guess on these actually hold the ball bearings in there, but I think these hold the top plate. Whether they come all at once or not, we don't know. There we go. Okay, they're nuts and eccentrics down here, so we're going to grab a 1/2 inch for the bottom. That's what it felt like. Yep. Okay, counterclockwise brings them loose. There we go. Bigger screwdriver. Okay, and okay, we got a flat on this rod here, so it looks like this rod will unscrew out of here. We're gonna have to pull that side over there because this is gonna have to lift straight out the top. It has a boss that this rod goes into. Okay, I removed that plate over there and I changed the cut on the mill over there again, so okay, looks like a 3/4 10. That screws into the boss there. Now this should lift out of here. Oh, we have wipers over here, so we got to pull these 2 wipers and teeny tiny Allen. Oh, just go past it. That's all we need to do. And then go past that one. We'll leave those right on there. Okay, you can see the boss. right down to the floor. Can't fall from there. I know, as I pile all this shit up here, right? All right, so there's an Allen and there's an Allen. And that's gives you your equal footprint for holding this thing up here. I'm too lazy to walk over and get my ball, Allen. Okay. We'll loosen this one up a little bit. Okay, now we can see that this thing is completely free. All right. And it is on dowels. Occasionally I get asked, and especially lately with me working on this Monarch, somebody else has got a Monarch and they email me and they go, hey, I need a follow rest and a steady rest. And you know, well, I don't have those things either. I'm really isolated here on the Cape, meaning I'm pretty much within these four walls here, and I don't get out and I don't go over to other shops like I would if I was in the big city. So anyway, the other week I just happened to find a steady rest on eBay, and this is just as it came to me, and I do have the locking foot underneath. Everything is exactly like it's supposed to be, except for it's just off center by 3/8 of an inch. So this must be just slightly newer, but it is a Monarch steady rest, and center line and everything else is 100% perfect. So the angled way over here, I will just fill in and then remachine it over to compensate for this, and I won't have to change anything else on this. I will put rollers in here, but it was well worth 500 bucks. Now, you shopping the way I normally shop with eBay and everything else, you just have to constantly check it out. You have to constantly put the input in there, and you will find different things. And then you got to look at it, and sometimes you've got to take it, and sometimes you might have to return it. But this here is a perfect fit, and I consider this a win-win. Short dollars for fabricating all the rest of it, because we know what $1 million steady rest looks like, right? Check out that video. All right. With that being said, I think that's going to conclude this video for now. And until next time, get her done.